Hi there, I'm Brett from Laser UK. I'm now going to show you on this second video how to use the more advanced features of DMX on the SD card lasers. Okay, I've loaded the smart card into the computer again, and we're just about to get underway with using the more advanced functions of DMX. So on screen we now have the DMX channels in the top selection here, and below it is a frame list. The frame list shows all of the effects that are currently loaded onto the smart card and what DMX positions they fill. In the previous video, all we did was use one channel of DMX to control the first 15 frames of animation that were on the smart card. We're now going to set this up to be able to use every single frame, which is 256 frames. For ease of use, I'm going to leave them in the number order that they are on screen, but you can change them with the drop-down menus. Okay, so the first channel of DMX is Show Select L, which is, if it was like the last video, when it was in play on itself, all it would allow us to do is select the first 15 shows and nothing else. If we then bring in the second channel of DMX, which is Show Select H, what that does is it now allows us to select all the rest of the channels and all the rest of the shows that are on the smart card. Basically, it creates 16 banks of 16 shows. So you can have all 256 frames of animation that are on the card. The third channel of DMX is the speed in kilopoints per second, which will then allow us to change the speed of the output show, and for different things, animations and draw speeds need to be different. So we can do that with DMX here. The fifth channel is the output size. So that will allow us to zoom the effect in and out and basically customize it to a wall or whatever you're projecting onto. 6 and 7 are both offsets, X and Y. These both allow us to then move the output from the laser left to right and up and down to wherever you wish them to point. By default, when they're blacked out, you can set them, if you put a value of 128 in, they will stay in the center, but we're going to be able to use DMX to position them. Finally, 8 and 9 are set blank shift and intensity. Blank shift is the figure that allows you to cover up the lines in between points. So the things that you don't want to see, you can change that value for, so that the laser moves without actually being on. And intensity is basically exactly that, a dimmer. So you can set that to 0 and you will have no output from the laser, whereas 255 will give you the maximum power output, and you can dim it in increments from that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is bring on everything on the values from 1 to 9, so show select all the way down to intensity. I'm going to save the configuration file, save config, and we're ready to put that into the laser. Now I've reloaded the smart card into the machine, and I'm about to show you how the new DMX settings will control the laser. So first of all, as before, channel 1 will select a show. So if I bring that on, you'll see we get a little green dot appear, flashing dot. There's no output size from it at the moment because we haven't told it to grow. So what we now have to do is use some of the other settings of DMX to get the laser positioned where we want, at the size we want, and the speed. So if you remember from the settings we just used, channel 6 and channel 7 are offset X and offset Y. So we need to use 6 to move the dot left to right, and 7 will bring it up to a central position. So, as you can see, with these two settings, I can move the dot up and down, and left and right. So we'll set that in a fairly central position. Now, channel 5 of DMX is the size. And as you can see, as I move the fader up, the effect gets larger. Channel 4 is a speed control. As you can see now, the effect is starting to turn. That's the animation speed of the laser. Channel 3 is the draw speed. At the moment it's quite flickery because we're at 0. As I bring this up, as you can see, the intensity of the beam gets stronger and the picture becomes clearer. You do have to be careful with speed control because some effects, like straight lines, don't need a huge speed to control them, whereas animations will need a faster speed. So it's about setting the right speed for the right effect. 1, as before, will select the first familiar patterns we saw earlier. But now, if I bring channel 2 on, you can see that those patterns change. We now have access to the remainder of the effects that are stored on the smart card. So again, now channel 1 is controlling all of these effects, which are different to the ones we saw earlier. Changing the positions of channel 2 and channel 1, you select different DMX values which select different smart card patterns. So we can go through this until we find something that we want. I'll show you some of the animations. There we go, some animations that are on the card. And as you can see, I need to increase the speed to make the animation a bit stronger. There's a butterfly, bird flying. A few of the other animations that are on there. Just a selection of, these are all animations that are actually pre-programmed into the smart card with the machine as it comes. As you can see now, we've got multiple control over effects as well as position and size. You can see I can zoom that right down and bring it right up again. It's a far more advanced way of controlling the laser. Okay, now we know how to use the advanced functions of DMX. The last thing we need to show you is how to load your own animations onto the smart card. Now, by default, the smart card comes with animations, lots of ILD files preloaded onto it. You can manipulate these quite easily. All you have to do is select the file area you wish to change, click on it, and it will bring up an open dialog box. And it's as easy as just select the file you wish to replace it with, click that, and open, and it will replace the file name in that value of DMX. It will play any ILDA frame list file. You can drag them into the smart card, load them onto the smart card, and then once they're available on there, you just load them into the section as you would any other file. The first file name on the list is called the pools file list, value 0. Now by default, when you turn your smart card on, there will be no show listed into the pools position. If you do list a file into that position, then the laser will play that show immediately as it is turned onto SD card mode, whether it has DMX control or not. And any time that it does not have any information, it will, instead of reverting back to showing nothing, it will show that file that is loaded in there. The main reason for this is for if you wish to use your laser for maybe a logo or in standalone mode, you don't want to control it with DMX, but you want it to show some text or an animation, just one off. You can put it in the pools menu, and then you can just select the laser into SD card mode, and it will automatically show that frame that is stored into that position. You can use the laser in a sound to light mode, perhaps with your disco name or whatever you wish to display, happy birthday or something that you've created, in the pools menu, and then you can just switch off of that and get on with using the laser for its inbuilt beam shows. Well, thanks for watching the video. I hope it's opened a few eyes on how to use the smart card system. All the information that we've talked about in the video is in the instruction manual that you get with the laser anyway, so any points you're not clear about, you can read in your book. Thanks again for watching.